7 of Neetcode 150, products of an array except self. So we're going to be given an array of integer, for example, here 1, 2, 4, and 6, and we have to render the value of the multiplication of all the other numbers except this number at this index. So for example, at the index 0, the value is going to be 2 times 4 times 6, so 48. Notice that we did not include the 1, although the result would have been the same. But for example, at index 1, the result is going to be 1 times 4 times 6, so 24. We did not include the 2 in this multiplication. All right, so how can we do this? Well, there's a very easy manner to do this. It's to simply multiply all the values of the integers in the array and divide them by their respective values. So this is going to give us the exact output that we're looking for, except that the problem mentions that we should not use divisions. All right, and we have to use a time complexity of O of n. So let me introduce you to the solution for this problem. So let's say that we're given the array of integer here with the numbers and their respective index. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna do what I like to call a forward run and then a backward run. So in the forward run, we're first gonna set the first index to 1, and then after this, we're gonna set the other values to what we're gonna call our multiplier. And our multiplier, it's gonna be equals to what you can see here, the index. So let me show you how it works in theory. So first we set the index 0 to 1, and then the index 1 is going to be equal to the multiplier m times the index 0. So what is the multiplier at first? It is 1. What is the index 0? It is 1, right? So here we're going to put a 1. Now, what are we going to do for the next case? So at the index 2, we're going to take the multiplier, which is still 1, and we're going to multiply it by the index 1 of the original array, which is 2. So 1 times 2 is 2, and we're going to put a 2 in here. And now for the last case, we're going to take our multiplier once more, which is 2, and we're going to multiply it by index 2 here. Our index 2 of the original array is 3. So we're at 6. All right, so this is the forward run. And once we have the forward run, we're going to take the same values and we're going to do a backward run. Okay, so we're going to keep our 1, 1, 2, 6. Okay. And we will do the same thing backward. So we're going to start with our multiplier of 1. And once again, we're going to multiply the last index, in this case, by 1. So 6 is going to stay 6. And then we're going to take our multiplier 1. We're going to multiply it by the index 3. So it's the last one. And the index 3 appears to be 4. So 1 times 3, 4. All right, so the multiplier is 4, and we're going to multiply our 4 by what is already in the case. So 4 by 2 is 8. Okay, so now we're at 8. Now the multiplier has to be multiplied by the index 2, or the second last index, which is 3. So now we multiply 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, and 12 by what is in here, which is 1, is 12. All right. And lastly, we're going to take a multiplier again, and we'll multiply it by the last index, which is 2 in this case. and it's gonna give us a 24. All right, and if you notice, this result here is exactly what we will have get if we simply multiply all the numbers here. So 1 times 2, 2, then 2 times 3, 6, then 6 times 4, 24, and we divide this number by all their respective values. So 24 divided by 1, 24, 24 divided by 2, 12, 24 divided by 3, 8, and 24 divided by 4, 6. So this is the result that we want to get. All right, then let's jump into the code. So first, as you notice on my whiteboard, I created an array to store the values for the forward round and the values for, well, the values of the backward round, which are the same of the forward round. So we can call it answer. It's going to be equal to basically an array of 1, and this array needs to have the length of the array that we're given. So we're going to do as follow: 1 times the length of nums. All right, and now we need our multiplier for the round. So multiply forward, let's say it is first. All right, and now we're gonna have to iterate through the numbers in our initial array and put them in our answer array. So for I in range len nums, basically the answer at the index I, it's going to be equal to the multiplier forward. So for the first run, the value of the answer array at the index 0, it's going to be equal to 1. And after this, we're going to set our forward multiplier, and we're going to multiply this by the nums at that index. So if you recall from this whiteboard, for the first iteration, when I equals 0, we're going to take a multiplier and multiply it by the index 0. So it's going to be 1. This is exactly what we spoke about a couple minutes ago. And this is it for the first forward run. This is what it's going to look like. So this is what we did. We have our multiply forward, we have our for loop, and we're basically creating this array here. All right, now we have to do the backward run. So we're gonna set our multiplier, let me just call it back. We're gonna set that to 1, and we're also gonna iterate for I in range of the len nums, and we want to do -1 because we don't want to take the last index, and we want to go up to the index 0. So we're going to set the bound to -1, and we need to specify that it has to run in a decreasing order. That's the reason we add the -1 at the end. So what we're going to do is that we're going to iterate backward, and the answer at the index, will have to be multiplied by our multiplier back. And then our multiplier back will be equal to itself multiplied by nums at its index. Okay, and this is all we have to do for this problem. We're going to return the answer, and submit it. There you go. So now you solve the problem without using division. And since we're doing one forward run and one backward run, we have a time complexity of O of n, so we're entirely within the constraint of the problem. I hope you learned in this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.